loud and quiet. So nice. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here on this beautiful sunny day. I'm so grateful for this day and grateful for each of you coming today. So today we have Rev Terry going to be speaking for us, and we have the beautiful, wonderful, fabulous, marvelous Heidi McCurdy with us this morning, and she's going to kick us off. So I'll let you start there, Heidi.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. You can clap if you want. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source, and joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source, peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my source, God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Everything. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
I love kicking off with a upbeat little song. Thank you. So again, welcome. My name is, I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm Reverend Tamara. So happy to see everybody here today. And I just want to take a moment as we start off this morning and welcome our YouTube and our Zoom people. Thank you. And it's so nice to see some faces we haven't seen for a while here today. There's a few, so it's so wonderful to welcome everybody today. And as we begin this sacred time, I just want to take a moment and a deep breath and turn our attention inwards. And just filling our hearts with gratitude. For this time, for this space, for this life. And each Sunday we do a recognition of the land that we live on. And we give thanks for the first peoples, for their enduring love and wisdom and stewardship of the land. These unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including Katsi, Kwantlen, and Semiahmoo. We also honor all the other indigenous nations who now call this region home. But we recognize the richness that they bring to the community of White Rock, Surrey, and beyond. And today I ask each of you to think of what it means for you to acknowledge this land. And may it be more than words, and may it be a reminder of our shared responsibility to walk gently, to listen deeply, and to live in right relationship with Mother Earth. So with that, at CSL White Rock, we hold a vision of a loving, vibrant world that works for all. And as a spiritual community, we're committed to moving forward with understanding, compassion, and harmony. And if you're new here, our teaching is based on the science of mind. We believe that each of us is a unique expression of the divine, and we are here to awaken to that truth, to live from the inside out, to be peace, to be love, and to bring our highest selves forward. So welcome to CSL White Rock, and whether you're here for the first time or you've been part of this community for a long time, you're welcome here. And now it is my joy to welcome up practitioner Liv, who will lead us in a sacred time of meditation.
Good morning, everyone. I am Liv Daniel, one of your practitioners here today, and I am indeed going to lead you into meditation. I would like to ask that if you haven't turned off your cell phones yet, if you could please do that right now. It can be an interrupting source. And maybe this is going to be your only chance to meditate today or turn inward, so consider it as a special gift to yourself, to honor your time. And I brought you a meditation today that is titled Doing Your Best, because it goes hand in hand with what Rev Terry brought to speak about today. And this meditation is inspired by the teachings of someone I love. Her name is Pema Chodron. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat. Let your hand rest. Close your eyes gently or soften your gaze. Know that you have arrived. Notice the hum. Feel the breath as it comes in and goes out. There is nothing to fix. There is nothing to prove. There is only just this moment. Let yourself hear this message softly. I am doing my best. Maybe this message feels true to you. Maybe not so much. Just let it land. Just let it sit with you. Because you do what you can. And sometimes it means that you fall short. So you begin again. That is your practice. Doing your best doesn't mean that you get everything right. sometimes your best is just your willingness to show up. So I invite you to be with that. Just breathe. Take a deep breath in. And let it go slowly. And feel that that is enough. You are not a project to be completed. You are a being, unfolding, meeting life with presence, with heart. Recall a recent moment, maybe today, when you were patient or honest or simply doing your best to stay kind. Maybe it was messy. Maybe you were tired. Still, you showed up. Feel the sincerity behind this, your intention to show up. Honor that. That's your best. That is enough. Doing your best is not perfection. It is compassion. It is willingness. It is starting again. Take one more deep breath. Go deeper this time. And let it go gently. Offer yourself this quiet blessing. May I trust my own good heart. May I be gentle when I fall short. May I keep showing up with love. When you're ready, open your eyes and carry this softness with you into whatever comes next. Om Shanti. Blessings. And I'll invite Heidi back to accompany us with another song into service.
I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. Do you want to try it with me? I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. The first one's I see myself. The next one's I Know Myself. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. If you want to try that. I know myself, I am enough. And the melody. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. Joy and love. I know myself. I am enough. I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself. I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough. I see myself in joy and love. I know myself, I am enough.
Wow, Heidi, just beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it. So simple, but yet so meaningful. So meaningful. Well, it is my turn to get to introduce our guest speaker today. So I'm fortunate enough to call Rev Terry Shea, friend, mentor, spiritual guide, practitioner, senior, what is it? I guess I would call you past senior minister. I don't know. Whatever. He's led a varied life from bus driver to Catholic monk to CSL minister, and an amazing, amazing funeral officiant who is, I know that's one of those ones, but if you ever are in need of somebody to care for your family, he has definitely the skill to help people through a time of transition. So I am honored that he chose to speak here today for me, as we're talking about doing our best. And I was scheduled to speak if my surgery didn't go through. And I just tuned in and listened to Spirit, and Spirit said, not your day. So I called him up and said, do you mind doing this for me last minute? And he said, of course. And I said, well, we're talking about doing your best. And he said, well, that's a great topic. So, and I am honored that he is here today. And I will now turn it over to Reverend Terry Shea.
Thank you, Tamara. Just give me a second to get it organized here. You should always be afraid when my worksheet looks like this. I'm going to begin by apologizing a little bit because I have two things that are very much in my mind these days, and one of them is that this is a challenging time to be alive. And so much of what it means to be in challenge seems to be, for many people, about what do we do about it? You know, how to make your life better. Let me back up and say this. There's a modern moral philosopher whose name escapes me in the moment, who said this: the gauge of the moral rectitude of a society is how many shopping carts are returned to the racks and enclosure where they came from. Now, along the lines of how to do the best thing, one of the things we might say is, we might even have a book about it or a lecture about it or something that said how to return your shopping cart. And so I find in some way fault with this idea of looking at the life we have today with all of the things that are going on and approaching it from the perspective of how we could do better. Let me give you another example. I was really touched by Reverend Tamara's land acknowledgement and the appeal to each one of us to think, how do you acknowledge, or what's your connection to the land acknowledgement? And so I'm going to tell you mine. My sailboat that I spend most of my summer on is in Milltown Marina. And Milltown Marina is on Musqueam land and is totally owned, operated, and run by the band, the nation. And when I think of this wonderful place that I live, that is so rich an experience of being on the water and surrounded by natural beauty, the thing that stands out most for me is that we have in the trees around our marina a heron rookery. And so for all of you who are used to seeing herons here and there, we have them flying around all the time and crapping. And well, that's the thing about the world we live in, is you have to be ready for the crap as well. I want to begin with 3 stories. In 1380, the King of England this was during the 100 Years' War, laid siege to the city of Calais. And the citizens of Calais were waiting and hoping for the King of France to come and save them from the siege. And they waited and waited and waited and waited, and no help came. And so finally the king, the English king, said, I will lift the siege to the city if 6 of the most powerful and wealthiest men in the city will surrender themselves to me and be executed. Rodin, the famous French sculptor, did a sculpture of the 6 bourgeois de Calais, the burghers of Calais. And I encourage you to Google it and see the image in bronze of these 6 men who handed themselves over to the King of France to be executed. As I was reading the story, I was thinking to myself, in my typical 21st century Western way, and of course the king was lenient. Well, no, he wasn't. He executed all 6 of them. And the image of the 6 of them that Rodin captured is not 6 stalwart citizens standing up, heads high, and supporting one another. But in fact, he presented them as they probably would have been, crestfallen, broken, and afraid. Each one of them with a noose around their neck and ready to be hung from the ramparts of the city. So again, I encourage you to look for the 6 burghers of Calais. The challenging piece of this story is that the King of England was doing his best. And so were the 6 burghers. My second story, and the ancient Greeks thought about this question a lot. What is the best thing to do? What is the right thing to do? And they told lots of stories about it, not the least of them is a famous story of Ulysses. And Ulysses was caught between 2 very difficult places, Scylla and Charybdis. Scylla was a multi-headed monster that was prone to eating sailors that had fallen overboard or that somehow misfortune. And Charybdis was a whirlpool that sucked down ships into the deep. And here was Ulysses caught between these 2 places and wondering what to do, and being told that he had to sacrifice 2 of his men in order to save the entire crew. So he was faced with the dilemma that was not uncommon in Greek stories about the king who was told that in order to save his city, he had to sacrifice his only daughter. And so this was a story that the Greeks grappled with a lot as they tried to understand, in a world where good things happen to bad people and where bad things happen to good people, what is the right approach to take? And so the idea of doing your best is by no means a new idea. It certainly was not invented by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's one that in our humanness we have to grapple with all the time. The final story I want to share with you comes from Star Wars. And I was very grateful when I was a teacher, and I'll give you a little bit of history. When I left the monastery in my late 20s, I was not happy with God. I thought that God had given me a bad deal. And so the only way I could really get back at God was just to stop having anything to do with him. and stopped going to church. And when I was hired by Vancouver College, the Catholic Boys' College, it was expected that I would go to church. And just assumed that that's what I did every Sunday with all the good Catholics. Well, that was not the case. When we had masses at the school 4 or 5 times a year, I would attend. But when I was in context training and my friends said to me, you know, you should check out context training. There's the church, there's a church that's kind of associated with it called Celebration of Life Center. And it's kind of, the church is kind of like context training, except with spirituality. You should join us for church some Sunday. And I said, I don't do church. But when the television fell on Sister Shrinan's head from one of those trolleys that we used to wheel around the school, and I was asked to take over the head of religious studies, I thought, really? But I did. And I will be forever grateful for that invitation, because it was one of those strange events that seems divinely ordained to call us back to ourselves. And in the process of preparing for my job, I rediscovered God. But I rediscovered a God that I have come to talk about as G-D. Not God, the God we all know and the one we grew up with and the one we probably had a little bit of discomfort with, as I did. But my G-D God is a statement about my God is an individual expression. It is a God that I understand in the way that I understand it, and a God that knows me in the way that I am known. I'm quoting St. Paul from the 1 Corinthians 13, the famous one about love, which I really like. But the best part of it is not love is patient, love is kind, love is this, love is that. It's the part where he says, when I was a child, I thought as a child and spoke as a child. But when I grew up, I set aside childish things. And he says, he goes on to say, wisdom and prophecy will fail. But one day I shall know, even as I am known. To me, that is a powerful statement to say that I will understand myself as God understands me, or I will know myself as I am known to God or by God. So the last story, Luke is being trained by Yoda. And Yoda says to him, you need to go into that cave. And you need to encounter what's in there. And Luke has been training, and so he feels all, ready and, full of what, and vinegar. And he's ready to go in. And he turns to Yoda and he says, what should I bring in with me? And Yoda says, only what you have. Weapons, you will not need. Right? And he goes in and he has his lightsaber. And who does he encounter but Darth Vader? And so with one slash, he slices off Darth Vader's head. It falls onto the ground, the mask breaks open, and inside, Luke sees his own face. The work that we do in doing our best is discovering who we are really and truly. It's delving deep into our spiritual work to do just exactly what we are here to do, and that is to know who and what we are. And everything that we do and everything we encounter and every challenge that we find ourselves up against is the opportunity to find that self that we are. And this is not unique to us and to those like us who are on spiritual path. This is the lot of every single one of us. From the most challenging person you can imagine to the most beneficent and beloved and loving person. That we are all on this path to know the self that we are. To be known. To know ourselves as we are known. Now comes the challenging part of the talk here. When I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, I started pilfering milk bottles from my house. My mom would put out the milk bottles for the milkman to deliver the milk. It was a very strange idea for people younger than us. And I would pilfer one of the milk bottles, and I'd take it to the store, and I'd get money for it, and I'd buy penny candy. But when my mother didn't put out milk bottles, I had to get some somewhere else. And so I started pilfering the neighbors' milk bottles. Not a lot of them, but just from time to time. And one day, there were no milk bottles to be found. So I had to get money somewhere else. And so I took $10 from my mother's purse. Now, you can imagine what year it was when I was 8 years old. It was a long time ago, and $10 was a lot of money. It was certainly more than I would have been able to buy candy with and survive. And so I bought some penny candy with the $10, and then I hid the bills someplace, and I buried the coin. A very ingenious young fellow, right? And my mother asked me what happened to the $10. I said, I don't know. And I continued to maintain that I did not know what happened to the money until eventually I had to admit that I had taken it. And my mother was extremely upset. She ordered my father to spank me, and he sent me up to my bedroom to change into my pajamas because I was being sent to my room. But with uncanny accuracy, just when I was out of my pants and before I was in my pajamas, he arrived on scene with a belt and gave me a very serious licking, as we called it in those days. This relates back to the story of Luke finding his own face in the darkness that he had to encounter. And so my message today really is that in doing our best, it's not what we have to do. It's what we have to encounter in ourselves that brings us to do. You see, this business of being constantly reminded, oh, you know, you could do this and you'll be a happier person. You could do this and you'll get a relationship. You can do this and you'll have more money. You can do this, etc., really takes away from us the true agency of our lives. What it does is it says, hang out in effect. Hang out in the effect of the things that are happening to you and the things that you can do about what's happening to you, rather than going back to cause. And when I say cause, I mean certainly what caused me to steal money and milk bottles, but even further back into what is the causation of our life. What is that duality that the ancients struggled with? This business of, well, why, as Paul said, do I do things that I would rather not do and not do the things that I know I should do? I have been consulting a prayer chaplain, psychic, Reiki master, and hypnotherapist, all rolled into one person. Yes, exactly. Wow. And I've seen him 3 times, and the last time I saw him was yesterday. So what I'm talking to you about today is pretty fresh. Why did this little boy that I was feel this need to buy candy? I didn't spend the money on anything else but candy. Why? What was the cause of that? Well, I didn't really know, nor had I really thought about a lot of the things that choices that I had made in my life before this session yesterday. But this gentleman introduced me to an aspect of my life where I felt lonely, isolated, and unloved. I bought candy to soothe myself. You see, in this life that we're living where we're trying to do our best, soothing myself was the best I could come up with. And I think a lot of times that's how we live. That our best looks like finding some way to answer something in us that is wounded, lost, frightened. I do not like what Donald Trump is doing to America. I do not like what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing to Israel and Palestine. But my heart breaks to think of what level of pain, sadness, and brokenness these men must be experiencing in their lives that leads them to make such choices. You see, we would all like to see them act differently, see them behave differently, see them make other choices. And we've all got ideas of what it is that they could do. But in fact, there really is only one thing to be done. And that is to return to who and what we are. Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind, the revelation of the self to the self. This is the great lesson. It is the lesson, he says, of all lessons. To recognize that we are an individualized expression of the one is to know the self. I'm going to say that again. To recognize that we are an individualized expression of the one consciousness is to know the self, small s, self. But to know oneself as the one, undifferentiated, to know that you are that, as the Sanskrit message is, tattvam asi, you are that. To know that the revelation of yourself as one with all that is to know the big S self. For there is a self that is overarching and is all that is. And that's our work. That's what we are called to do. Jesus said, "The Father and I are one." The Father and I are one. He who sees me sees the Father. The work that we do in this teaching, you know, I have a friend who has just moved back from the Bay Area because of some of the upheaval that's taking place in the United States. And she's a Canadian, and she felt this overwhelming need to return to Canada. She lived in the United States for 25 years, and she was a member of an ashram in Emeryville. And she is convinced that the people of Vancouver are of a lower spiritual vibration than the people in the Bay Area. I can see how she would feel that, because she is missing the ashram. People in Vancouver are not of a lower spiritual vibration or a higher spiritual vibration than anyone anywhere else, generally speaking. And it doesn't matter where you go on the planet. What she is missing is spiritual beings that she has not yet met because she is not part of a spiritual community. I say this to you because you are. You are a part of a spiritual community. And the people that you associate with are of a certain vibration that feels familiar, comfortable, and I would hope from time to time, challenging. If we're doing it right, our spiritual work should always come with a little bit of challenge, with a little bit of impulse to stretch or impulse to withdraw. And if you're feeling the impulse to withdraw, ask yourself, where's that coming from? If you're feeling the need to engage, ask yourself, what is prompting that? I made a note to myself last night when I was preparing for this. There are 44 pages in the beginning of the Science of Mind textbook that are absolutely essential, and I would advise anyone to spend 5 years contemplating those 44 pages. And when I say contemplate, I mean that. Just contemplate what's in there. Think about it. After you've done that for 5 years, and probably taken a class or two, I would recommend that you jump to the end of the book. There are 32 pages there in the summary that will call you to a higher and greater expression of spiritual life. You might need to find a mentor to work with one-on-one. You might feel the need to become a practitioner, but something will have to happen. Now, if you think about it, 44 and 32, that's 76 pages out of the entire book. How many people have been in this center or associated with this center for 10 years or more? Keep your hand up if you have a Science of Mind textbook. All right. I am impressed. Very good. Well, you just got the really good news. If you don't want to read the entire book, and it's pretty heavy stuff, just do those 77 pages, 76 pages. Meditate on them for 5 years, and then get some help with the last section. In that last section, Ernest Holmes does an exposition of a very famous part of the Bible. And it always disturbs me when people want to throw out the Bible, because it is possibly one of the most, if not the most important record of our culture that exists. Now, I don't mean to say that I believe everything that is in there, and I certainly do not take it literally, but there is wisdom in there that we can mine, we can get stuff from. And Ernest Holmes proved it when he wrote a section on page 475 in the Science of Mind, for those of you who want to check on it, where he says, to begin, as the Father has life, so the Son has life. And we have a teaching that says there is but one life. This life is now our life and manifests through us as we believe in it. Our word is spoken in the consciousness of life, power, and action. And then our word is life, power, and action. We are surrounded by a spiritual consciousness and a mental law, and out of these two things, all things are made. What I want to say to you today is an appeal to come from that place of consciousness that all things are one thing, that all beings are expressions of one life. And in so doing, accept, even tentatively, maybe trying to accept it, just like trying to do your best. Accept that the work that you have to do and that I have to do is to encourage life, wherever we find it, to know the self. To know the self. Who am I really? What am I here for? And what is the best that I can do for myself for the people around me, and for the world today. So ends the lesson, and so it is. Namaste.
Just realized I picked 2 songs by beautiful chorus today. Obviously, I like them a lot. The last one was, and this one is too. Ooh, oh. 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 Be the love, be the light. Hear your voice, spirits calling. Be the love, be the light. Hear your voice, spirits calling. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. You can sing that with me, that's a chorus. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. Awaken to the rhythm of the falling rain. Not today. Surrender to the moment, let it wash your pain away. Awaken to the rhythm of the falling rain. Awaken to the moment, let it wash your cares away. You are the love, you are the light. Lift your voice and spirits calling. You are enough, you are alright. You've got a choice to stand from falling. Ooh, oh. Awaken to the rhythm of the falling rain. Surrender to the moment, let it wash your pain away. Awaken to the rhythm of the falling rain. Surrender to the moment, let it wash your cares away. You are the love, you are the light. Lift your voice and spirits calling. You are enough, you are alright. You got a choice to stand from falling. Ooh, oh. Beauty shines from the inside out. 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 Beauty shines from the inside out.
Heidi always, is this on? Heidi always does such amazing songs. I love your style, and I love how you deliver the message. It's amazing. Thank you. And I am here because I am doing, drum roll, announcements. So today after the service, stick around, because if you have been reading our newsletter or listening to the service or attending in person, then you know that today's talk wrapped up the last one around the 4 agreements theme. And so today after, Reverend Terry and Reverend Tamara, you get 2 reverends for the price of 1, and they will be talking about, it's called The Talk, and they will be discussing the 4 agreements. So some of you might have followed along the messages and reading the books, and you probably have some thoughts or questions to bring to this conversation. But if you don't, maybe you can still stick around and listen to the conversation. Maybe it will just what you need to inspire you to read the book or ask some questions or be part of the conversation. So check it out. It starts today at 11:45, so in about 15 minutes. 11:50, give or take, when the time is exactly perfect, when you finished your coffee, your chat, and your little cookies. And on the 24th of August, there is something really fun that's happening. Save the date. There will be a picnic. Bring your family and your friends and join in on this fun. It will be at Redwood Park. It will be after service. And there will be games and hot dogs, and you get to catch up with your friends and maybe make some new friends as well. So stay tuned for more details and save the date, so put it in your calendar. And on that note, there is some exciting and inspirational good stuff that's coming to our center in the fall. A lot of you probably taking the summer off to do things. And why do that? Reverend Tamara is preparing for an educational and beautifully unfolding fall session for us. There will be courses, practitioner training, a lot of good juicy stuff. Some of the things that we paused will resume. So stay tuned, read the newsletter, come to Sunday service, join us online, whatever you can do, but just stay tuned. And thank you very much. Now I welcome Reverend Tamara back up here.
Thank you, Liv. Wow. Heidi, Terry, a powerhouse duo today. Thank you for everything. So this is the moment in our service that we pause to recognize the power of circulation and the practice of sacred giving. And this is where we not give from obligation, but from a consciousness of abundance and gratitude. Giving is an affirmation that we live in a universe that is always supporting us, always providing, and always overflowing with good. So whether your gift is of time, treasure, or talent, know that it uplifts not only this community, but your own spiritual life. Your giving allows us to say yes, yes to love, yes to growth, yes to possibility. So if it feels right for you now, I ask you to take whatever gift that you're giving today, to hold it to your heart. And gently bring to mind a specific good that you desire in your life. Something meaningful, something real. See it clearly. Feel like it is you already have it. And then envision a specific good for our beautiful center. See it thriving, see it serving, see it filled with joyful, loving people, and know that this good is already on its way. And lastly, let us know a specific good for the world. And if you're willing, please repeat after me our affirmation. With a grateful heart, I joyfully and mindfully give, knowing that abundance flows through us and our community thrives. As I share, I know I am blessed. And so it is. And now I invite our ushers to pass the baskets. And online, you have different ways to donate as well. And Heidi is going to sing one more beautiful song. And I hear the yellow joy notes. We're supposed to have special messages today.
I am blessed. I am blessed every day of my life. I am blessed, 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 blessed when I wake up in the morning or lay my head to rest. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed every day of my life. I am blessed, 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 blessed when I wake up in the morning or lay my head to rest. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. Oh, I am blessed. I am blessed every day of my life. I am blessed, 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 blessed when I wake up in the morning or lay my head to rest. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed every day of my life. I am blessed, 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 blessed when I wake up in the morning or lay my head to rest. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. So the joy blessing for everyone online today is nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. Audrey Hepburn. Beautiful. So we take a moment and we bless these gifts, the givers, the receivers, and we bless this wonderful community. And we know that these gifts make a difference into the world. It touches hearts and minds, and it is knowing that it opens up a world that works for all. So I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I've invited our practitioners up, and Terry, would you like to join us as well? And we have Georgia, who is in Holland. I don't think she's probably watching us right now because it's probably a different time zone. And Jill's away this week. But these wonderful people here are very skilled in prayer, in what we call our spiritual mind treatment, also known as affirmative prayer. So if you just want to notch up your life, or if there's something that's on your heart that you would like some spiritual guidance with, I think these are your people right here to lend a hand and to do that. So grab them afterwards, and they can set up a session for you. And online, there's also, we have Pamela, I believe, is online today. Sorry, Pamela, we can't see you, but I know she will set up a prayer session in a Zoom room for you as well if you're online. So, and also we do have prayer requests on, there's a prayer box, I believe, Sandy, right? Yes, on the table. If you don't have time to stay and talk to somebody today, or always go on our website. We have a prayer support page, and you can put a request on there, and one of our lovely practitioners will send you a prayer. All right. Well, I guess that brings us to a close today. So if you're all willing and able, stand and repeat with me our final affirmation. Something wonderful is happening in me right now.
Something wonderful is happening in me right now.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called love.
It's this thing called
It's this thing called I do my best. I know it. I feel it. I express it. I am it. And so it is. And we stay for our last song from Heidi.
Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a brand new start. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a change in my heart. Everything I need, I now receive, and it's done unto me as I believe. Right here, right now, where I am. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a brand new start. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a change in my heart. Everything I need, I now receive, and it's done unto me as I believe. Right here, right now, where I am. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a brand new start. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a change in my heart. Everything I need, I now receive, and it's done unto me as I believe. Right here, right now, where I am. Right here, right now. Right here, right now, where I am. Oh, where I am. Right here, right now, where I am.
Thank you, Heidi. And thanks, everyone.